The theme of my message today is the Shabbat, the difference between the Shabbat and the new moon. You see, the Shabbat is the 7th day of the 7-day week. Remember, look at what I said. The Shabbat is the 7th day of the 7th day a week. That means 7 days makes up 1 week. So immediately day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, and day 7, that's the Shabbat day, which is the day of rest that YAHUAH created. YAHUAH created everything in 6 days, and he now created the Shabbat day. And he said, and YAHUAH now barak the Shabbat day, and he set it apart. He kadashed it. He set it apart from the other 6 days. And YAHUAH now brought it to us again. Let me start by reading the book of Shamot, Barashit, from the beginning. Oh, to the Rabbi YAHUAH Sabaoth. Barashit chapter 1, verse 14 to 18. Verse 14 said, and YAHUAH daba. That means YAHUAH said, YAHUAH spoke, asked. His daba, his word. And YAHUAH daba, let there be light in the firmament of the Shamayim to divide the day from the night. Let there be light in the firmament of the Shamayim. YAHUAH is about to create the moon, the sun and the moon. And the purpose of creating them is what we are seeing right now. He said, and YAHUAH daba, let there be light in the firmament of the Shamayim to divide the day from the night. And let them be for signs and for seasons, and for days and for years. And let them be for light in the firmament of the Shamayim, to give light upon the Arat. This is the purpose of the moon. The moon, YAHUAH did not create the moon for the moon to be changing the Shabbat weekly days. YAHUAH did not create the moon to change the Shabbat weekly days. He created the moon for a purpose, and that's the purpose that we're looking at right now. For a sign, to become a sign in the Shamayim. That's why YAHUAH created the moon and the sun. To the Rabbi YAHUAH Sabaoth. Verse 15. And let them be for light in the firmament of the Shamayim, to give light upon the Arat. And it was so. And YAHUAH made 2 great lights. The greater light to rule the Yom, which is day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made stars also. You see? So YAHUAH created this light for a purpose. He created them for a purpose, so that they will give light to the Arat. The daytime is brighter. So he gave the sun for the day and the moon for the night. Verse 17, they say, and YAHUAH set them in the firmament of the Shamayim to give light upon the Arat, to rule over the Yam, which is day, and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And YAHUAH saw that it was good. YAHUAH saw it that it was good to divide the light from the darkness. This is the purpose of the moon and the sun. He gave the sun to divide the light from the darkness, and he gave the moon to put light on the Arat, so that people can see. Everywhere will not be total darkness. And we're going to see the importance of the moon, how the moon gets its light. And that's where we're about to go to shortly. He said, and YAHUAH set them in the firmament of the Shamayim to give light upon the Arat, and to rule over the Yom, which is day, and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And YAHUAH saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the 4th Yom. So the 4th Yom, which is the 4th day. You see, YAHUAH created the light and the sun and the moon in the 4th day of the 7-day week. Inside the week. Because the week YAHUAH started the calculation of the week. The 1st day, the 2nd day, the 3rd day, and the 4th day. Now YAHUAH created the moon on the 4th day. How can what YAHUAH create on the 4th day now start to dictate the weekly, the 7-day week? He created it on the 4th day of the week. Now it will not start to dictate the 7-day week. No, the 7-day week is eternal, it's forever. No man can alter it. No evil spirit, no demon. And that is why the evil system of this world, they try to name the day because they know that they cannot alter the weeks. They now name the days, the number of the week. They now name it with their pagan deities names. You see? So let me go to the next scriptures. Okay. The same Barashi chapter 1. Now this is verse 26 to 31. And YAHUAH Daba, let us make man. This is the day 6. YAHUAH created the Shamaim and the Arat. YAHUAH created the Shamaim and the Arat in day 4. And now day 6. YAHUAH is about to make man in his own image and his likeness to be like him. He said, and YAHUAH Daba, let us make man in our image and our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the yam, which is sea, and over the fowls of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the arat, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the arat. So YAHUAH created man in his own, YAHUAH created man in his own image. In the image of YAHUAH created he, him, male and female, YAHUAH created. You see? The 6th was the day that YAHUAH created man on the arat. The 6th. Now, and verse 28, and YAHUAH barak them. Now, after YAHUAH created man, YAHUAH now barak the man. Please take note of this barak that you're seeing here, that YAHUAH barak the man. He said, and YAHUAH barak them, and YAHUAH daba unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the arat. Be fruitful, be fruitful and multiply. Be fruitful and multiply. This is YAHUAH's baraka upon man's life. YAHUAH's barak man, that you should be fruitful and you should multiply. That means you don't have any reason to remain stagnant in your life, except you are just the one that is creating your poverty mindset and want to remain in the place that you are. YAHUAH has already put his baraka upon man. Baraka, which they translate to blessings. YAHUAH has put his baraka upon man, and he has commanded man to be fruitful and multiply. That's the command from YAHUAH. That's the command from YAHUAH. And you must focus on YAHUAH's commandment. YAHUAH's command is life. YAHUAH's command is life eternal. Because you are not operating in YAHUAH's commandment. That's why you are not benefiting the important, the importance of the command. You are not benefiting from the importance of it. No. You must understand that you must fix yourself in the place of receiving. Without you fixing yourself in the place of receiving, you will not receive nothing. And YAHUAH barak them, and YAHUAH daba unto them. Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish, and replenish, and replenish the arat. Replenish everything that you do. That is YAHUAH's command. Replenish it, and replenish the arat, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the yam, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the arat. And YAHUAH daba, I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole arat, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food. This is the instructions that the Creator YAHUAH has placed on even the plants. He has given them for us for a purpose. Everything that YAHUAH created, they have their own purposes. YAHUAH created the week, the 7-day week, for the week to recycle itself. From the day 1 to day 7, immediately after the Shabbat, it recycles again to day 1. from the very beginning. He said, and Analua Daba. He said, and Analua Barak them. This is let me come verse 30. Verse 30 say, and to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for food. And it was so. So Yahuwah has placed order, even in the grass, the green leaf, everything. There is an orderliness. They have their purposes. Everything that Yahuwah created in this earth, in this life, in this earth, they have their purposes. And Yahuwah saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. Everything Yahuwah has made in the 6th day, the day 6 of the week, everything that he has made on that day 6, they are very good. Behold, they are very good. Everything was very okay. Now Yahuwah has finished his creation, everything. He created them and he said, behold, they are very good. Let's see that again. And Yahuwah saw everything that he created, which is verse 31. And Yahuwah saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the 6th yom, which is day, which they translate to day, which is day today. The evening and the morning were the 6th day. The 6th day, not the 7th day. Yahuwah finished his creation, he finished creating everything on the 6th day. Then suddenly we now enter the 7th day. Thus the Shamayim and the Arat and everything in the Arat were finished. And on the 7th yom, which is day, Yahuwah, the Almighty One, ended his work which he had done. And Yahuwah rested on the 7th yom, which is the 7th day. Yahuwah did not do anything on the 7th day, nothing. He did not touch any. He has finished everything on day 6. He said all was very good. Everything that he has made was very good. Indeed, they are very good. And Yahuwah rested on the 7th yom from all his work which he had done. Then, remember I said the Baraka, Yahuwah Barak man. Then Yahuwah Barak the 7th yom. Yahuwah Barak the 7th yom, which he Barak man that he created on the 6th day, but he did not Barak the day. He Barak the man. He Barak all the creation. He Barak the man that he created on the day. Then Yahuwah now Barak the 7th day that he did not create anything. Yahuwah did not do any work at that day. He did not create nothing. He said the day of his rest. He created that day for his rest. What is the meaning of rest in Paleo Hebrew? The Paleo Hebrew, what we call Shabbat today, is actually rest. So you name the days, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6. That Yahuwah, the Yahuwah of all life, created everything. Then he now created rest. Yahuwah now created rest, and he named the rest day 7 of the week. You see? So you must follow Yahuwah's programming, not your own mind. No, your mind will lead you astray. And that is why the Creator told us in the scriptures that he's looking for people that will worship him in the Ruach and in truth, which is in the spirit and in truth. You must worship Yahuwah in the Ruach and in Amat, which is truth. That's the only way you can worship Yahuwah. You cannot worship Yahuwah with your carnal mind. He said to be carnally minded is dead. Do not just make up things in your mind and start selling out narrative that does not matter. No, that will destroy other people's life. Focus on the scriptures that will set you free. The scriptures say, my people have been destroyed for the lack of knowledge. So what is destroying people is not anything more than the knowledge. It's knowledge that they don't have. That is what is destroying them. When you have the knowledge of the truth, which is the Daba of Yahuwah, which is the word of Yahuwah, you will not be destroyed. Nothing can destroy you. So that Rabbi Yahuwah Sabaoth. You see? So nothing can destroy you when you walk in line with the Daba of Yahuwah. Nothing in this arat. So I'm going to be going to the next phase of the scripture now. Now, this is the fourth commandment. Yahuwah now brought the creation. After he finished the creation and he rested on the seventh day, he now brought it to the command again, the commandments. He said, the fourth commandment, which is Shammut chapter, Shammut is the one they translate to Exodus, chapter 20, verse 8 to 11. He said, remember to observe the Shabbat Yom, which is the Sabbath day. Remember to observe the Shabbat Yom. He now brought it again to remind us and to make you understand the importance of the Shabbat. He said, remember to observe the Shabbat Yom by keeping it Kadash, by you setting it apart from the 6 days. The 6 days of the week is your own, but the 7th day, Yahuwah created it separately, and Yahuwah named it rest. He named it Shabbat to become the day of rest. He now brought it, he said, remember to observe this day of rest. Remember to observe this 7th day of rest. Remember, I did not create anything on that day. You're going to see it here also. He brought the creation to this very command. He said, remember to observe the Shabbat Yom by keeping it Kadash, which is set apart. He said, you have 6 days each week. Now, Yahuwah is not telling you from the fourth command. This is the fourth commandment. He said, you have 6 days each week for your ordinary work. You have 6 days. That means the 6th day and the 7th day. That means makes it a week. So you cannot use the moon to say, okay, now the moon, the first day of the moon. The first day of the moon is the first day of the month. The first day of the week is the first day of the week. The week and the month are not the same. He said you have 6 days. Verse 9. He said you have 6 days each week for your ordinary work. But the 7th day, he said, but, anywhere you see but in the scriptures, anywhere you see but, you must take it seriously. The but changes everything. That but that you are seeing there, it changes everything. He said, but, verse 10, he said, but the 7th day is a Shabbat day of rest, which is, Shabbat is rest. He says, the 7th day is the Shabbat day of rest, dedicated to Yahuwah, your Yahuwah, Yahuwah, your Almighty One. That is your Yahuwah. The day is dedicated to Yahuwah, your Yahuwah. On that day, no one in your household may do any work. This includes you, your son, your daughter, your male and female servants, your livestock, and any foreigner living among you. He said, now he now brought you back to the creation again. In verse 11, he said, for in 6 days, this is see, Yahuwah does not contradict himself. The creator cannot contradict himself. And you that is about to worship Yahuwah, you must worship Yahuwah the way he has programmed it for you to worship him, not your own carnal mind. Because Yahuwah does not contradict himself. He said, verse 11, he said, for in 6 days, Yahuwah made the Shamayim, the Arat, the Yam, and everything in them. But on the 7th day, Yahuwah rested. That is why Yahuwah Barak. You see, Yahuwah Barak, man. He said, nah, that is why Yahuwah Barak that day. The 7th day is a day of Barakah. I want to tell you today, the reason why Ashatan is planning and is distracting you, distracting everyone in the whole Arat from not focusing on the day that Yahuwah Barak is because when you focus on that day, the Barakah of that day will rest upon you. Then you will not start your new week again. You must focus on the day Yahuwah Barak. Because even Yahushua HaMashiach said something. He said the Shabbat was made for you. For you to step in the barakah of Yahuwah, so that in your own 6 days, you can make your progress and you will live in that barakah. Then the Shabbat again, you go and refresh yourself and receive more barakah. To the Rabbi Yahuwah Sabaoth. He said, for in 6 days, this verse 11, he said, for in 6 days, Yahuwah made the Shamayim, the Arat, the Yam, which they translate to sea, and everything in them. But on the 7th day, Yahuwah rested. That is why Yahuwah Barak the Shabbat Yom, which is day. And Yahuwah now set it as Kadash. Set it apart as Kadash. That means Yahuwah not set it apart. He said, come, let me tell you, everyone in the whole Arat, I'm commanding you. He's telling his Kadash ones, this day I set it apart from the other 6 days. You must understand this. And let that day produce results in your life. Do not allow the moon to distract you. The moon is for the month. It's for you to know the month. It's for the season. For you to know the month. Like we just step into the new year now. It's because the moon is made to guide us that this is a new year. It's not to guide us that this is a new week. No. It guides us to this new year because it's the cycle of the moon. The cycle. That is it. Toda Rabbi YAHUAH Sabaoth. The cycle of the month is important that you understand the cycle of the month and the cycle of the week. As the week got to the 7th day, it recycled itself from day 1 again. To day 6, day 7. After the day 7, it recycles again. Now, we're going to be looking at this very moon. What is the effect? What is the work of the moon? And Shanuk gave us a very clear, a lot of people, this is what they use in arguments that the Shanuk even said it, that the moon is what we give you show you your week. No, the week is different. Yahuwah refer you anytime. Yahuwah always refer you back to the creation when he's talking about the 7th day. Now, Shanuk chapter 73, I'm going to read from verse 1 to 10. He said, after this law, I beheld another law of an inferior luminary, the name of which is the moon, and the orb of which is as the orb of Shamaim. Its chariots secretly ascend the wind and blows, and light is given to it by measure. Now, the moon is what attracts light from the sun. Every month, at its exit and entrance, it becomes changed. It becomes changed, and its period are as the period of the sun. And when the moon is full, its light is a seven portion from the light of the sun. That means the total light of the sun. If you share the total light of the sun, that full moon, that is what the scripture is telling us here. When you share the sun now, the total lightness of the sun, you share it into 7 portions. The full moon is 1 portion of the sun. That means the full moon that everybody is seeing today, if the full moon is times 7, every year will bright up like the sun. That is what this scripture is telling us here. He said, every month, verse 3, every month at its exit and entrance, it becomes changed, and its period as the period of the sun. And when the moon is full, its light is a 7th portion from the light of the sun. The 7th portion. The full moon is a 7th portion. That means 1 portion of the sun, the sun, when the sun is shining. The full moon is 1 portion. Times 7 is the full sun. So the moon attracts its light from the sun. Thus it rises, and at its commandment, at the commandment that Yahuwah has given to it, towards the east goes forth for 13, he said, for 30 days. For 30 days. That is what the moon will walk towards. It walks towards for 30 days. Verse 5. At that time, it appears and becomes to you the beginning of the month. That means after he has completed his 30 days, it will not come again from the beginning, like tiny C line. See, just, you see it's very tiny. That's the day 1. He said, at that time, it appears and becomes to you the beginning of the month. 30 days with the sun in the gate from which the sun goes forth. Half of it is in extent, 7 portions. 1. It says 7 portion 1, and the whole of its orb is void of light, except a 7th portion out of the 14th portion of its light. And in a day it receives a 7 portion of, or half of its light. Its light is by 7th by 1 portion, and by the half it sets with the sun. You see? Verse 7. And when the sun rises, the moon rises with it, receiving half a portion of light. On that night, when it commenced its period, previously to the day of the month, the moon sets with the sun. So, like what the scripture is telling us here, the moon is always there, taking its light from the sun. So when the sun has set, the moon will continue its work. That means from the very first day that the moon is small, it's very tiny, it will take its light from the sun. The next day it will increase a bit, it will become bigger than the first day. The second day, it will increase again. The third day, as it takes its light from the moon, it will increase. It will increase. Before you look, it's increasing. Then it will not become the full moon in 14 days, which is 2 weeks. 2 weeks. It will not become a full moon. Verse 8. On that night, when it commences its period, previously to the day of the month, the moon sets with the sun. And on that night, it is dark. It is dark 14 portions. 14 portions. Remember, 2 weeks. 7 plus 7 is 14. It's dark 14 portions. That is half. That is half of the month. But it rises on that day with 1/7 portion precisely. In its progress, decline. It said, and in its progress, decline from the rising of the sun. When the moon has become full in the 14 days, which is 2 weeks, immediately it starts counting downward. Then again, for the next balance 2 weeks to complete the month, it will not be counting downwards again. It will not be reduced to small. Then it will not go and come back again as a new month. It's to guide us. The scripture says, for a sign and season. YAHUAH created them for them to give us the sign. Even the birds, the animals, the plants, all of them know the importance of this sign and the season that YAHUAH created it for. The moon. YAHUAH did not create the moon to become the Shabbat recycling. No. He created the moon to recycle the months, not the week. To the Rabbi YAHUAH Sabaoth. Verse 10. It said during the reminder, during the reminder of its period, its light increased to 14 portions. Its light increased to 14 portions. Now, let's see the verse 14. This is where many people use in, distracting themselves. This verse 14. This Shanok, which is Enoch chapter 74, I mean to say, verse 1 to 16. Then I saw another progress and regulation which he effected in the law of the moon. There is a law concerning the moon. The moon is always obedient to what YAHUAH has commanded it to do. To the law of the moon and the progress of the moon and everything. Uriah is one of the Malachim, showed him, which is Shanok, which they translate to Enoch. The Kadash Malach who conducted them all. He said, their stations I wrote down as he showed them to me. Verse 3, I wrote down their months as they occur and the appearance of their light until it is complete in 15 days. 15 days. Oh, to the Rabbi YAHUAH. Verse 4. In each of its 2/7 portion, it completes all its light. 2/7. Remember, 2/7, 2/7. That means 2 weeks. The weeks are different from the moon. In weeks of the 2/7 portion, it completes all its light at rising and at setting of the sun. That is how it completes its light. It received the light from the sun. On the it said unstated months, it changed settings. It changes settings. That means if you study the moon very well, you will see that sometimes it changes its own settings. And on stated months, it makes its progress on each. Into the moon sets with the sun in those two gates which are in the midst. In the third and the fourth gate, it goes forth for 7 days and makes its circuit. Again, it remains to the gate. He said again, it returns to the gate whence the sun goes forth, and in that completes the whole of its light. In that it completes the whole of its light. Then it declines from the sun and enters in 8 days into the 6th gate from which the sun goes forth. So that Rabbi YAHUAH Sabaoth. Verse 7. When the sun proceeds to the 4th gate, it goes forth for 7 days until it passes from the 5th. Again, it returns in the 7 days to the 4th gate and completing all its light, decline and passes on by the 1st gate in 8 days and return in 7 days to the 4th gate from which the sun goes forth. Thus I behead their stations. This is Shanuk not telling you now. He not behead the stations. YAHUAH showed him how every of the moon and the sun operates. He showed him everything. Thus he behead the station as according to the feast order. YAHUAH has ordered it that it must be so in every month. According to the feast order of the month, and the sun rises and sets. The sun rises and sets every day for you to know that the day has ended. That's the work of the sun. Verse 11, and those times there is an excess of 30 days belonging to the sun in 5 years. For, he said in 5 years, excess of 30 days belonging to the sun. All the days belong to each year of, he said all the days belong to each year of the 5 years when completed amount to 364 days. That means in 5 years, there are some certain seasons in 5 years, it will be 364 days. And to the sun and stars belong 6 days. 6 days in each of the 5 years. 30 days belong to them. So the moon says, so that the moon has 30 days less than the sun and the stars. These are the directions of YAHUAH's instruction concerning the light, the light that he created for science and season. He said, the moon brings on all the years exactly, that their station may come neither to forward nor to backwards. You see? Instructions. Even the moon is obeying the instructions of Abba YAHUAH. The moon is obeying the instructions of Abba YAHUAH. You that is the creation that YAHUAH created to be like him. You must understand all these details. It's important for you. Even the moon obeys the instructions. Everything in this earth obeys their instructions. Because YAHUAH has given instructions to every creation. All of them. So you need to study them now. Because YAHUAH gave them to you to have dominion over them. Study them and let the barakah that comes with those instructions rest upon you. From this day, as you are listening to this message, you must understand that YAHUAH has put orderliness in every of his creation. And that order, no man can change that order. No human being, no evil spirit, no demon can change that order. The order of the 7-day week, because YAHUAH created everything in 6 days. And he said everything is good. And YAHUAH now barak the man on the 6th day. Then YAHUAH created the 7th day just to barak the 7th day to become a day of rest. Understand this. No man can change that 7th day weekly. Not even the moon. The moon was created on the 4th day of the week. So the Rabbi YAHUAH Sabaoth. He said the moon brings on all the years, exactly. That means the moon is for season. It makes you know the years that you are in. Exactly. That their station may come, neither too far, neither too forward nor too backwards. A single day, but that, he said, but that the years may be changed with correct precision in the 364 days. In 3 years, he said in 3 years, the days are 100. He said the days are 1,032 days. In 5 years, they are 1,820. And in 8 years, 2,912 days. So that Rabbi YAHUAH has given his order. And YAHUAH's order is what we stay. Not your own mindset, not your own thoughts. It's YAHUAH's order that we stay. Ba'asham Yahushua Mashiach. Verse 14. He said, to the moon alone belong in 3 years 1,062 days. In 5 years, it has 50 days less for an addition being made to the 62 days. In 5 years, there are 1,770 days. And the days of the moon in 8 years are 2,832 days. Verse 15. For its days in 8, he said, for its days in 8 years, for its days in 8 years are less 80 days, which 80 days are its diminution in 80 years. He said, the years then become truly complete according to the stations of the moon and the stations of the sun, which rise in the gates, which rise and set in them for 30 days. You can study this Chanukh chapter 73 and 74 on your own, and YAHUAH will guide you and give you understanding more so that you will live by YAHUAH's instructions only, not your carnal mind. You will live by YAHUAH's instruction only. Because when you start to live with your carnal mind will not produce the desired result for you. The scripture says when you know the truth will set you free. Focus on the truth of YAHUAH so that you will be free. You will not be living on deception. Not somebody will just bring this word to you. You will not take it. Another person will bring this. No, it's the daba of YAHUAH, the word of YAHUAH. That is your only freedom, nothing else. You will just be living the life of failure, of deception, of bondage, self-bondage. The things that YAHUAH has programmed to barak you will not become cause for you when you don't know them. That's why the scripture says, my people are being destroyed for the lack of knowledge. You need to have this knowledge of the truth so that you can walk in line with YAHUAH's programming, not your carnal mind. So that Rabbi YAHUAH Sabaoth. I'm going to be reading the first Pesach, which is this is something that a lot of people are still taking. The first day of the week is their mindset. Where they bring this moon and weekly Shabbat, distraction. Shamut, which they translate to Exodus chapter 12, verse 1 to 3. Why the Yasharalim were still in the land of Mizraim, YAHUAH daba the following instruction to Moshe and Aaron. From now on, this moon, say from now on, this very moon that you are seeing now, this moon that you are seeing, from now on, this moon, which is month, will be the first moon, which is the first month of the year. It did not tell you that it will be the first day of the week. He said, will be the first moon of the year. Take this serious. Understand. Let YAHUAH give you understanding so that you will not perish. Because YAHUAH said, my people have been destroyed for the lack of knowledge. He said, from now on, the verse 2, from now on, this moon, this month will be the first month, not the first week, not the first day of the week, the first month. This is what YAHUAH commanded the set apart ones. Say, from now on, this month will be the first month of the year for you. Announce to the whole community of Yasharah that on the 10th day of this month, which is this moon, each family must choose a lamb or a young goat for a sacrifice, one animal for each household. He said, announce to the whole community of Yasharah that on the 10th day of this month, not the 10th day of the week. The week is 7 days. 7 days a week. That is what YAHUAH has programmed in this arat. For us to have 7-day weekly, and the cycle of the moon is the month. For the month. The first day, the moon, to the last day of the moon is the full month. The full moon is the half of the month. Then when it clap back again from the full moon to the small one, the month is complete. Then it will not go and come back again as a new moon. To the Rabbi YAHUAH, let YAHUAH open your heart and mind. As you are listening, let YAHUAH open your heart and mind so that you will receive these words and let them produce results in your life. Let them free you from the bondage that you are in, so that the barakah of YAHUAH's creation will rest upon you and they will produce results in your life. That is my prayer for you from this very day. To the Rabbi YAHUAH Sabaoth. Oh, Rabbi Sataka Librum the Sacred Healer Monday. Yeshayahu chapter 66. This is another place that they use in arguing. Yeshayahu chapter 66, verse 22 to 23. He said, for as the new moon, he said, for as the new Shamayin, which is after the Shamayin and the new Arat has passed away. YAHUAH is telling you now, he said, as the new Shamayin and the new Arat, which I will make shall remain before me, says YAHUAH. The same way your descendant and your name remain with me, all mankind will come to worship me from Shabbat to Shabbat. That means from every Shabbat day, every man will come to worship YAHUAH. Every man, all mankind will come to worship YAHUAH from Shabbat to Shabbat. And look at the end here. The end is the differentiating from the Shabbat, which is the 7-day weekly, and the month from new moon to new moon, which is from every month, every new month, and every Shabbat. It did not say from new moon, then you will not calculate your Shabbat. No, from Shabbat to Shabbat, and the new moon, and new moon to new moon. Do not be distracted. Do not allow people to put you in self bondage. When you stick to this narrative of this self, they don't study the scriptures. They say they hear the scripture. YAHUAH say they hear because they don't know the scriptures. That's why they are hearing. You can be, many people read the scripture, but they don't have the understanding of the scriptures. You need to pray that the Ruach HaKodesh will guide you. That whatever you read in the scripture, the understanding of what you read should be there for you. And that is the only way that you can walk in line with what YAHUAH has programmed for you to receive in this arat. Nothing else. You cannot make progress by living in deception. You will be in anybody that is in deception is in bondage one way or the other. You see, the Shabbat is so important, and YAHUAH now brought it to us as a sign. Shemot chapter 31, verse 12 and 13. So YAHUAH daba to Moshe, you are to tell the Yasharalim that surely is like a warning, that surely you are to certainly observe my Shabbat. You are to certainly observe my Shabbat, because it is a sign between me and you from generation to generation. So you may know that I am Yahuwah, who kadash you, who set you apart. Like he set the Shabbat apart. Yahuwah said he created the Shabbat day on the 7th day, then he now barak it and set it apart from the other 6 days. That you may know that Yahuwah is the one that barak you and set you apart, that kadash you also. Now, Azakiah, after thousands of years, after Musha have finished his time on the Arat, the Nabim Azakiah, Nabim is what they translate to prophets, and the Nabim Azakiah now brought it again, the same. I am Yahuwah, your Aluah. Follow my degrees. Follow what I have programmed for you, not what your mind, your carnal mind is cocoring. I am Yahuwah, your Aluah. Follow my degrees. Pay attention to my regulations and keep my Shabbat days, Kadash, for they are a sign to remind you that I am Yahuwah, your Aluah. They are a sign to remind you. The Shabbat is a sign. Yahuwah has created it from the beginning, and Yahuwah barak the Shabbat day, which is the 7th day of the week. As the 7th day is over, the first day will start again. Then the Shabbat day will come again. The first day will start again. Then the Shabbat day. That is how it was. It has been from the creation. Nobody can change it. The 7 is Yahuwah's seal to man. Yahuwah used it to seal all his creation. The day 7. That's his signature. And he baraked it. He set it apart. Set it apart. And I pray for every one of you today that from this day, you will start walking in the light of Yahuwah's truth, so that you will not fall into any temptation. Because when you walk in darkness, you will fall into temptation day by day. You will not progress in life. You will think you are progressing, but no, you are still in one direction. So the Rabbi Yahuwah Sabaoth. Abarim chapter 4. This is now in the renewed covenant. The renewed covenant. After our Mashiach, after Yahusha has come and died and brought us back to Yahuwah and resurrected and is now in Shamayim. Now Yahuwah is putting all the enemy under his footstool, under his toe, under him, before the end will come. This is Abarim. He said, the promise of entering the Shabbat rest of Yahuwah still stands. And let me tell you something. Remember Yahuwah, anytime they talks about the Shabbat, he always refers, he does not refer, the Shabbat does not, I've never one day referred, throughout the scriptures, the Shabbat has never one day referred you to the moon. No, he refers you to the creation. He refers you to the creation week, the week of the creation. That is what the Shabbat refers you to. He said the promise of entering the Shabbat rest of Yahuwah still stands. Let us be careful that none of you be found. He said, let us be careful that none of you be found to have fallen short of it. He said, for this good news that Yahuwah has prepared this. He said, for this good news that Yahuwah has prepared this Shabbat rest has been announced to us just as it was to them, but it did them no good because they did not share the amunah of those who listen to Yahuwah. If you read the book of Shammut chapter 16, that is where Yahuwah told the children of Yasharal. Shammut chapter 16, he told them that this is how you will walk with me on my Shabbat. He gave them the manna that he brought from Shamayim for 6 days. And on the 6th day, the manna of the 6th day, Yahuwah empowered it to take 2 days supply. So there is no supply on the 6th day, on the 7th day. But Yahuwah said, take two quarter. That's take 2 portion on the 6th day. So that 2 portion, one for the 6th day, then the second one you will use it for the Shabbat day. So when you read Shammut chapter 16, you will get clarity on how YAHUAH told the former people, our ancestors. He said, for this good news that YAHUAH has prepared this Shabbat rest has been announced to us just as it was to them, our ancestors, which is our fathers, but it did them no good because they did not share the amuna of those who listened to YAHUAH. The Shabbat did not do them any good. Normally they would just, because of the law that was there, they would just be, thinking that they are, but they don't do the will of YAHUAH. So the Shabbat did them no good. That is what we call eye service. When you are doing it so that people will think that you are doing the will of YAHUAH, but in your heart, there's no amuna tied to what you are doing. So it will not do you any good. So there's amuna in every activities that concerns YAHUAH. You must put your amuna to work. Amuna is what they translate to faith, belief, hope, steadfastness, and trust. You must trust in YAHUAH. As he has given you that Shabbat, you must trust in YAHUAH Sabaoth. So the Rabbi YAHUAH Sabaoth. Verse 3. For we who have believed enter the rest. Say we now that have believed YAHUAH, that have amuna in what YAHUAH has given to us, the Shabbat that he has given to us. He said, for we who have believed enter that rest, just as YAHUAH has said. So I declare on, and he says, so I declare on oath in my anger. I declare on oath in my anger. They shall never enter my rest. And yet his works have been finished since the creation. Remember, it's not taking you back to the creation, the Sabbath, the first week. The work has been finished from the creation. We who know, he said, we know it. He said, we know it is ready because of the place in the scripture where it's mentioned the 7th day. He said, well, it mentioned the 7th day. On the 7th day, YAHUAH rested from all his work. On the 7th day, on the creation. This is Abarim now, in the renewed covenant. Not in the first covenant. This is the renewed covenant. He said, YAHUAH rested from all his work. From all his work. Not from some of the work. From all his work. On the 7th day, YAHUAH rested from all his work. He said, but in other passage, YAHUAH said, they will never enter my place of rest. So the Shabbat rest of YAHUAH is still there for people to enter. But those who first heard this good news, failed to enter because they disobey YAHUAH. Because of disobedience, they will not receive the barakah that YAHUAH has placed on the Shabbat day. YAHUAH's barakah is already on the Shabbat day, but because of disobedience, they cannot receive that barakah. No. Without your amuna, this Shabbat now cannot give you the barakah that YAHUAH has already placed on it. It's your obedience to YAHUAH that will make the Shabbat give you the barakah that is on it. Because YAHUAH has made the Shabbat for man. The Shabbat was created for man, to barak man. A special barakah on this day. So do not fall short of this barakah by your disobedience. Do not fall short of it. So the Rabbi YAHUAH Sabaoth. Oh wow. YAHUAH is giving you a new direction and you must focus on it from this day. The 7th. So YAHUAH set another time. YAHUAH is setting another time now. And see the time for yourself. So YAHUAH is setting another time for entering his Shabbat rest. And that time is today. Today now. YAHUAH is setting, is telling you now that you are hearing these words today. YAHUAH is setting you, is telling you now, do not disobey, be obedience, so that you will have the barakah that the Shabbat has brought. He says, so YAHUAH set another time for entering his Shabbat rest. And that time is today. YAHUAH announced this through King Dawood much later in the words already quoted. Today, when you hear his voice, do not harden your heart. Do not harden your heart, my brothers and my sisters. Do not harden your hearts. Do not harden your heart, my brothers and my sisters. As you are hearing the voice of Yahuwah speaking to you directly from the scriptures, do not harden your heart. Focus on this truth that will set you free, so that you will be free from every deception of this world. Or the system of this world, they have put you in bondage one way or the other. They brought Sunday, first day of the week, they not name it Sunday. Everybody will not be doing happy Sunday, happy Sunday. Right now, the scripture is telling you today, as you are hearing the Daba, as you are hearing the scripture, the scripture is speaking to you now. He says, so Yahuwah set another time for entering his Shabbat rest, and that time is today. Yahuwah announced this through King Dawood much later in the words already quoted. Today, when you hear his voice, do not harden your heart. Now, if Yahusha Banon, which the one they translate to Joshua, the son of Nun, this is Yahusha Banon. He said, now, if Yahusha Banon, the son of Nun, had succeeded in giving them this rest, Yahuwah would not have spoken about another day of rest still to come. So even the promised land that Yahuwah brought the children of Yashara to is not the rest of Yahuwah. The 7th day is the day of rest. It brought them to their land so that they can be doing their 6-day week, but they will reserve the 7th day that Yahuwah barak and rest upon Yahuwah, and they will receive the barakah of Yahuwah. Because without you resting on Yahuwah with your Amunah, the barakah of Yahuwah will not come to you. Never. So the Rabbi Yahuwah Sabaoth. Verse 8. Verse 9. So there is still, he said, there, so there, verse 9 say, so there is a Shabbat rest still awaiting for those, he said, there is a Shabbat rest still awaiting for the people of Yahuwah. The Shabbat rest is still awaiting the people of Yahuwah up to this very point. Do not fall short. Receive this daba that Yahuwah is giving you right now and let it produce results in your life. Verse 10. For all who have entered into the Shabbat rest of Yahuwah have rested from their own labors also, because your labor is for the 6 days of the week. Now you step into Yahuwah's Shabbat rest. You have rested from your own labors also, just as Yahuwah did after he created the world. Remember, anytime Yahuwah is talking about the Shabbat, he refers you back to the creation. Back to the creation, so that you will know that nobody can change the 7th day of the week. Nobody, no evil spirit, no demon. Ashatan cannot change it. The moon that Yahuwah created on the 4th day of the week cannot change it. Yes, the 7th day of the week is from the creation. The 7th day, Yahuwah created everything in 6 days, and he created the 7th day, and he barak that 7th day. There's Yahuwah's barakah on the 7th day of the week. So do not fall short of it. Receive that barakah, the obedience to Yahuwah, and that barakah will rest upon you every 7th day of the week, so that when you start your first day of the week again, the barakah will not guide you in all your ways. And that's why Yahuwah said the Shabbat is a sign. It's a sign between Yahuwah and all his set apart ones. So the Rabbi Yahuwah Sabaoth. He said, for all who have entered into the Shabbat rest of Yahuwah have rested from their own labors, just as Yahuwah did after creating the world in 6 days. In 6 days, and rested on the 7th day. On the 7th day. On the 7th day. And Yahuwah rested on the 7th day. So let us do our best to enter the rest with your Amunah. The rest, without you entering the Shabbat with your Amunah, it will not produce result for you. So let us do our best to enter that rest. But if we disobey Yahuwah, as the people of Yashara did, we will fall. Anybody that disobey Yahuwah will fall. Because the people of Yashara disobeyed Yahuwah at that time, and they fall. Say, for the daba of Yahuwah, the daba that Yahuwah spoke concerning the Shabbat day, is living and powerful. He said, for the daba of Yahuwah is living and powerful. The daba is sharper than the two sharpest sword. He said, the daba is sharper than the sharpest two-edged sword, piercing piercing until it divides soul and spirit, joints and marrow, as it judges the thoughts and purpose of the earth. Nothing in all creation. Remember, the Shabbat, the 7th day of the week, is always affiliated. It's always constantly recommended to the creation. He said, nothing in all creation is hidden from Yahuwah. Everything is naked and exposed before the eyes of Yahuwah. And he is the one to whom we are accountable. It's only Yahuwah that we are accountable to. Do not allow anybody deceive you. Do not allow anybody deceive you. Do not allow anybody use the moon to deceive you. That is the moon that will be counting your Shabbat. If you would, let me tell you this word today. If you use the moon to count your Shabbat, your week, 7-day week will not be complete at some point. It will not be complete. Yes. Your week will be jumping. Some week will be shorting 2 days. Some week will short 3 days. Then you will not count again. The week is 7 days. 7 days a week. Ashatan could not change it. The evil system of this world could not change it because Yahuwah has barak that day. And that is why the only thing they could do, they just made their evil system calendar and they just named the days because they could not change the days. If you browse very well, search your search engine, you will see that they try to put the weekly to 10 days. About 200 years ago, some times ago, they changed it to 8 days, but it could not because Yahuwah did not permit any man to change the 7 day a week. Yahuwah did not give any man that permission. And be focused in the truth of Yahuwah. Focus in Yahuwah's creation so that they will produce results in your life. Without that, without your focus in Yahuwah's creation, there will no results can come. Let's see what Yeshayahu talked about the Shabbat. What Yahuwah said in Yeshayahu chapter 58, verse 13 to 14. He said, keep the Shabbat day Kadash. Is that telling you this is how you keep the Shabbat day Kadash? Do not pursue your own interests on the Shabbat day. That means he did not tell you not to do good to other people. No, that's what Yahusha is trying to correct. It's trying to make you understand that for you to do good on the Shabbat is part of your service to Yahuwah. So, but your own personal interest, like your business and all those things, no. He said, keep the Shabbat day Kadash. Do not pursue your own interests on the Shabbat day, but enjoy the Shabbat and speak of it with delight as Yahuwah's Kadash day, because Yahuwah Kadash the day. Yahuwah baraked it and set it apart. Speak of it with delight as Yahuwah's Kadash day. Honor the Shabbat in everything you do on that day, and do not follow your own desire or talk idly. Then Yahuwah will be your delight. When you do the will of Yahuwah, Yahuwah will not be your delight. He said, then Yahuwah will be your delight. He said, I will give you great honor. Yahuwah is not the one talking now. He said, I will give you great honor and satisfy you with the inheritance. A promise, which is Yahuwah promise to our ancestor, Yaakov, because the inheritance is there. Yahuwah will honor you when you do the will, when you follow what he has told you to do. He said, we give you we give you the inheritance that he has promised to your ancestor Yaakov. Yahuwah has spoken. Yahuwah has spoken. When you do his will, it will give you delight, great delight. When you do his will, you will inherit the promise that he has promised our ancestor Yaakov. I pray for you, every one of us today that's listening, that let the will of Yahuwah only be your focus. Let what Yahuwah has programmed in this arat, let it be your focus. Do not follow what people say, because what people say can lead you astray. But from this day that you've heard these words, let the will of Yahuwah only be your focus. Focus on how Yahuwah has programmed you to do his things. Like Yahuwah has said, is looking for people that will worship him in the Ruach and in truth. Be the one that will worship Yahuwah from this day in Yahuwah's Ruach and the truth of Yahuwah. Not the truth manufactured to you, but the truth of Yahuwah only. Receive the wisdom and the understanding of this message and let it grow in your life. Let it produce results in your life. Ba'asham Yahusha Mashiach and Toda Rabba Yahuwah Sabaoth. So shall it be, and so it will be. Toda Rabba Yahuwah, Toda Rabba Yahuwah.